Were you shocked to find out your purpose, or did you kind of always know that you had a purpose?
I always knew I had a purpose. Like with the whole like fashion has always been my thing, but I didn't think that I could make a career out of it. It was always something like that's a hobby. Like, oh, that's cute. Like, oh, you can do that when you get off work.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be your thing. But I feel like fashion has created a platform for me to live my purpose.
And what is your purpose?
To make women feel good, because I feel like when you look good, you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, that's totally a word. I think that like my purpose was birthed out of my own pain. So like, what is the pain connected to your push?
So much. Like I feel like putting yourself together, like for me, that was like the moment. Like I used to watch my mom get ready and just put herself together.
Yeah.
And no matter what was going on in the world, she put herself together. So that's where it like comes from. But for me, like, it's like the pain is like just putting on the look, because like we do it to cover up so much.
Yeah.
Like that's where like mine is like really coming from, because I have a mom. My mom is on drugs. Not the mom who raised me, but I know that she, like how she feels. Like she came to my apartment one time and she didn't look right and they wouldn't let her up. And I know like that's the thing. Like this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I know there's women who are going through whatever, and I can show them how to put themselves together so that they can go out into the world and be okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like what people don't know behind the pictures.
Right.
That's...
I know, and I don't even tell anybody. Like,
really?
I don't talk about my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? Like, are you coming to a place now where you are beginning to share about her more, or did I just woo you into this transparency?
No, the Peggy conversation.
Girl.
That's another one. I'm not looking your mom in the eye in life, because she will snatch it. Right?
She will take, you won't even know what happened to you. She will just whisper you into deliverance. Yeah. Everyone has one. So like, how have you as a woman discovered this level of womanhood without, I know you mentioned you had another mom who raised you. Is that like the source that you got? Like one of the things my mother said during the Peggy conversation is that like you may not get it from where you want it, but God has a way of giving it to you. Like who gave you this definition of womanhood that we all see and admire?
I feel like I picked it up along the way, and I've always had like my Oprah moments, like where you have that voice and it's nothing but God whispering to you like, this is not going to be your life. Like my mom is amazing. Like my grandmother who raised me, she puts herself, like my Mary Lee doesn't play. Like, she has her red Chanel polish, and she is just polar. They're polar opposites. So I feel like, but I grew in a house where it was never talked about.
Okay.
So it was kind of the brush under the rug. So when I went out into the world, I did the Being Mary Jane sticky notes before there was ever a Being Mary Jane. I had to teach myself the love. Like the words weren't there. And now that I'm an adult, I realize what my parents sacrificed and did for me to raise me.
Yeah.
You know, like to take on the responsibility of another child that's not yours.
Yeah.
And to have like my master class, like to make do, like that feeling. So I realized what that is. So I went into the world and I had to build myself up. Like give like those words. I used to say it to myself all the time, like you're beautiful, you're smart, and you're going to go out there and do these things.
And like one day, did you just believe it?
Well, it kind of happened and stuff, like I'm still tripping off of it. Like, wow, this is your life. Like, all of it came together, like, along the way. But the pain, like, I used to cry and pray and all of that. And life will beat you up until you learn the lessons. I did all the things. I looked for it everywhere.
Sis. Life will just smack you. It will smack you around until you get it. Until you're just finally like, I have some decisions to make.
Yeah.
What's like the greatest decision you've made?
Choosing myself. Because I used to say all the time, like, how come this person isn't choosing me? Why won't they love me the way that I want to be loved? Or why isn't this happening for me? And I had to turn that all around and say, you know, all this love, all this stuff you're talking about, somebody giving to you, this whole time nobody's ever given you anything, so you're going to have to give it to yourself. And then once I started doing that, everything changed, because I realized everybody is doing the best that they can and trying to save themselves. My mom, she's trying to save, she's not in the right space to save me. That was the moment. I went and saw her in the hospital, and I used to be so angry because I used to think, like, even a dog is going to come back for its kids. And that altered my relationships with everything, with men, with life, with jobs. I always felt like I wasn't wanted. Like, why didn't you come back for me? And I remember going to see her in the hospital, and she was just a mess. And I said, she's not even choosing herself. She can't come back for me. And it's not, you know, it's not anybody's fault. She's not right. So I'm going to have to give it to myself.
Wow.
Then I started moving differently. And once I changed my mind, I say it all the time, once I changed my mind, I changed my life.
Do you think that women realize how, I don't want to say like easy, but do you think that we realize like how we literally have the keys? Because I think I have so many DMs from women who are like, you know, he's cheated on me 6 times and he got 5 kids by 6 different baby mamas, and I just want to know how I'm supposed to make it work. And I'm just like, you can't make that work until you figure out why that's in your life. But I don't know if it just sounds so easy. Like, how come we don't always realize that it literally comes down to you?
Because it's scary. We know the hurt. Like, if I know how Hakeem is going to hurt me, I don't know what else is out there. I can handle this, but I don't want to go out into the world and is it going to hurt more? And I feel like we get so comfortable and we stare at that closed door, and we don't even, because we're so scared of what's on the other side, that we like stay in situations that are bad. Because I hear it's easy when, of course, when love is involved too. Like, it's easy to say, walk away, why are you putting up with it? But when you love it, and we don't even know what love is too.
Don't have a clue. You know what it is. We need to stop giving it up, because something happens, something happens, and you just be out here.
Your mind's not right. You're making bad
decisions. Come on now. I can always tell when one of my girls, like, she's counseling, and I can tell when they go from like I met someone to when she is giving it up, because her mind just be like down the road somewhere. Just, girl, now what is happening in your life? I mean, I think you really have to value yourself before you can even put yourself in a position where you're giving yourself away, because otherwise you will just give it away to anyone who looks at you, and because you don't have that value.
And the hole, I talk about the hole all the time. We're always trying to fill up the hole. So it's like, oh, this feels good. Somebody's talking to me nice, and all this other, taking me out and making me feel right. Why wouldn't you want to put that down? Meanwhile, you getting dragged through the mud.
Dragged. Because you fell in love with potential and not reality.
And that is the biggest, that's our downfall.
I tell people, I'm like, y'all like the same music. Like, it's 40-some million people who listening to Beyonce right now in this moment. Like, just because you like the same music doesn't mean that you are meant to build a life with one another.
Oh my gosh, that's so deep.
It's true though. Like, we like the same movies. Like, what does that mean? We like to watch basketball. Like, who cares about that? Like, what kind of partner do you have for life? So, I don't know, Chelsea. You said something about like it being difficult for women to walk away because they're not sure what's on the other side. And you've had some decisions to make where you've walked away, I'm sure, not just from relationships, but friendships, maybe even business opportunities. What was on the other side of you walking away?
Amazing life. Like, everything that I've walked away from has been like my launching pad to go higher. Like, I mean, it's true. Like, I feel like God doesn't take anything away and bless you with something better. Like, I used to feel like he was sending me to voicemail. And I was like, I used to really scream, like, do you hear me? Like, hello? Like, what is going on? And then one day I think he just answered, like, and I had to move my feet, though. I say that all the time. Like, we pray for all this stuff, we ask, but we're not gonna do anything. So once I made the decision and I walked away, and it's scary and I was sad and all of the things, but now, girl, it's lit.
Because you just posted, you literally have $1 million situation happening over here.
Yeah, I just hit my goal. Like, I set very big goals for myself. Like, I am so hard on myself. Like, I don't know where that comes from, but I'm like really, really hard on myself. But yeah, I wanted to sell $1 million worth of clothes before my anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's major.
Thank you.
That's like, what has been the biggest business lesson you have learned as an entrepreneur?
To trust your gut. I feel like I have always felt it and I knew it wasn't right, but I wanted it so bad that I ignored my gut, and that has always landed me in the wrong spot.
Wow. I did an interview and they asked me what's the biggest, business lesson that I learned. And I said, I think the first one was like, you don't know everything. So don't be afraid to ask or to bring people in who have the knowledge. And then on the same token though, like, trust your gut, because you may not know everything, but you are the only one who has vision for what God has told you to do. And so there are going to be people who have expertise, but they don't have your passion.